we should be live.
Okay. Cool.
Okay. Let me just get the link. Oh yeah, we gotta go in the voice chat then.
Yeah, I'll see you in there, dude.
All right. See you there. Hello. You hear me? Hello. Hello.
Hello.
That wet.
All right. Looks like your mic is quite quiet on the stream.
Oh. Yeah, but I think I can't really get it any louder. That's the problem.
I could just turn mine down a bit.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, mine is on maximum. Can't get it any louder. Let me actually just... Get that, let's get that.
Is that loud enough still, Dave?
Oh god, you're really loud. You're
Really loud?
Yeah, you're really loud.
I turn it down.
It got like, it jumped like 200%.
What's
A bit better?
Is that... Sorry?
A bit better, yeah?
Is that loud enough? Quiet enough?
I think that's good. Well, let's see if there's actually anyone fucking watching. Oh yeah, just on Instagram doing that stuff here.
You're posting now, yeah?
Yeah, I'm just posting on Instagram.
Okie doke. Is there a way?
Fucking see that. All right, we are live. No, not love again. All right. Cool. Alex is there. Hello.
Hello, Alex. From the other room. Okay. I was just thinking, is there a way... Are we going to show any engine stuff tonight?
Actually not.
Okay.
Okay.
Hi.
Hey, man.
Hello. Wait a second. Who's there?
So.
Oh, hey.
How are you doing?
Hey, how you doing?
Well. I'm sick. And
Oh
you?
no. Oh
Oh, no.
no. Oh man.
Betting.
Ah, God, that's really loud. Hello.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, Bastian, can you... Oh, wait, I can actually turn you down, I think, on my end. Say something?
Hello, la 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 la. Da, da, da,
Yeah,
da,
that's
da, da.
better. That's better.
I
Nice.
can try to manage myself.
That's okay. It's great. Wait a second. I'm just posting that stuff on Twitter. Ah, now you're really quiet.
Yeah.
Alright, say something again.
La 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 la. Ich guck gerade auf mein Handy.
Bit more.
Nach Sachen.
Super.
Okay.
Super. Okay.
Oh, we are live
Yes, we are live.
on
The
YouTube.
world.
Yes.
Okay.
We have 1,000 viewers now. Just kidding.
Oh.
Oh, well.
No, we haven't. There's literally just 2 people watching. 1.
Ah.
So it's all chill and
couldn't-
easy.
I couldn't watch the last stream. How was?
The last stream was
Short
actually
recap, yes.
yes. Yeah, we did some modeling and some talking about how we do
Building buildings.
buildings. Yes.
Yeah.
Wait a sec. I'm just posting this shit. Maybe you can say something, Steve, about that.
What did we do? Well, Dave wrote up an amazing dev blog, if you didn't see that already, and we're kind of just sort of talking a bit about that and showing off some of the building stuff that Dave's been doing, and like some workflow and stuff, which
Yes.
is good.
Oh, that's my first time seeing Dave, actually.
Ah, hello.
What a magnificent beast.
Oh man, I'm just trying to make some like little snapshots for the Twitter post, but I think I probably won't do it. Of our ugly faces. Okay, wait, hang out with us. Bam. Cool.
Is there anything on Instagram I could share?
Yeah, I actually did like a story.
I see.
Could try that.
Hello, guys in the chat on YouTube.
Hey,
I was really
suck minder cheat actually.
Wow.
Oh no! It's 3 a.m.
Yeah,
Shit.
that's dedication.
That's dedication.
We gotta not disappoint now.
And Cromwell's eating, of course. Of course he is. So how are you guys doing? Bastian?
Yes. Sorry. I'm still trying out how to share Instagram stories.
Oh yeah, okay, that's cool. Well then let's talk.
But
with
I'm
our-
fine. I'm very, very fine. I wrote an assignment today because my school is closed down. It
Of course.
was a shit show.
It was what?
It was a true shit show. It was way too less time.
Yeah. What kind of subject was it?
It was Autodesk Inventor.
Oh, okay.
We had to design tools like a hammer and saws for children, 3 to 5 years, 4 of them. And yes, 105 minutes time, and we had to do drawings of
Mhm.
the stuff, 3D objects,
Yes.
and then the whole text stuff, like deciding what material to use for what reason.
Yeah. That's what kind of school are you going on? Like, where do you do Autodesk stuff on school? Is that like uni or what kind of is that?
I'm going to university next year if I get my degree this year.
Yeah, you get it.
I hope so. It's was ist denn dann ein Gymnasium auf Englisch?
Yeah, it's high school, isn't it?
Ist nicht die Hauptschule High School?
College.
College, yes.
It's a college for art,
Ah, okay. Nice.
technical art.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Oh yes, SJS is here. Sukman Dajit from Discord. Hello. And of course, Ahmad Najib. Okay, well he's 3 a.m. Okay.
Oh, six views. We doubled.
Yes, we
Yeah,
doubled.
wait for you to discuss some of the questions I asked.
Yes,
Oh,
we have
an entire list of them.
there we have so many questions. It's probably completely overkill to discuss them all. And we could keep some other for we could keep some for some other stream actually maybe.
I suppose it depends how much we can talk about each one.
Yeah,
One of them is
okay.
just hello Bleakmill.
Yeah, okay. That's quite a fast one to answer. That's true. Well, actually, let me just look what questions Ahmad actually asked. I'm not sure if he used.
It might be a different alias on Instagram, maybe.
Yeah, Ahmad, can you tell us what your Instagram handle is so I can actually
Hey,
see?
hey guys.
Hello.
Hello. Oh, there he is. Glad you joined, man. Hello. Ah,
Yeah, so even I also joined.
that's awesome, man. I mean, it was your idea in the end, so
Yeah, so I had to join.
yeah. Well, thanks for it. That's really interesting, actually. We never did this before, so.
Yeah, it's great.
No issues, man. No issues.
How you doing, man? Hope you're all healthy and shit.
Yeah, even the only thing is this lockdown is going on in my country. Complete.
Yeah,
We're the same. And it's getting worse by
yeah.
every day.
I think there was some shutdown stuff going on at Steve's side, like today in UK. There was quite some.
Yeah, we're basically on house arrest.
David, I'm getting like a kind of echo back of my own voice. Later, it's coming.
Oh, what's going on? Sorry.
Uh, I'm getting a echo back of my
I
own
think
voice
that's
after like 10 seconds
Ah,
afterwards.
that's me.
Yeah.
You have to turn my output down a bit. Sorry, it's my last millennium microphone.
ah.
Okay.
Okay. Well, how does that work? You get echoes from Bastian? How is that working?
Kind of past echo.
Ah, okay. That's weird. Oh, Jibogram. Ah, Ahmad just told us his Instagram name. Let me look.
Ah, that looks familiar.
Yes, Jibo.
Hat es jetzt irgendjemand mit Insta hingekriegt?
Sorry, was meinst du?
Yeah,
Ob das
yeah. No,
irgendjemand
it's
mit Insta hingekriegt hat?
To join here.
Never
Okay.
mind.
Never mind. Okay. I got his name and I have his questions. It's actually the first questions on the text edit we have here. So we could actually start with them because it's 3 a.m. for him, and I guess he wants to get to sleep quickly. Okay, well, let's start with the Q&A then. So, all right, Steve, you want to start with this stuff?
Yes. So, Jibogram, the first question asked, what was your inspiration behind it all?
Well,
it's basically with diehard Valve fans, or at least of their old games.
yes. Half-Life, Valve stuff, yeah.
Yeah, and we've always been big fans of Half-Life 2, and so we were just like, yeah, let's make something like that. And Portal 2, I think there's a lot of inspiration from Portal 2 as well.
Yeah.
Visually as well, we take a lot of inspiration from Source games.
No normal maps?
Yeah, pretty much. Although we've been naughty and added some here and there.
Yes.
It's important in places, but you know.
Some places are, in some places it's a really good thing, but sometimes it's just a bit over the top, isn't it?
Yeah, it can get ugly quick, can't it?
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah. So I'd say visually and gameplay wise, Half-Life 2.
Yes,
Um,
I'd say so too. I mean, Portal 2 is the second thing I'd add to the list.
yeah, but it's hard to pinpoint really because the game's changed quite a lot since we started, and there's a lot of inspiration from other games like Bioshock and even like Amnesia, if you can believe that.
Yeah. Oh, Steve is a huge Amnesia fanboy, actually.
Yeah. But I still haven't played Soma, which is fun.
That's fine. Who of you actually played Half-Life and Portal then, to actually bring this question back to you?
I recently played the first Half-Life,
Mhm.
like
I thought you were going to say
1.5
Alex.
weeks ago.
Ooh.
I didn't complete it yet, but I had because of the normal maps, I had an interesting moment when I looked to the top. There is, after the first scene when you enter the game and it's and before you actually start playing, it's just the intro sequence, and you can look at the shafts, and you have like a hole in the top, and I don't think this is not a normal map. It's really a shadow flat surface.
Ooh.
I don't know how to pronounce, but it's really astonishing how graphically up to date this thing looks, even if it's from several years ago.
Yeah, totally. That's
Lighting
always
is very
crazy.
good.
Yeah.
You,
That's why Half-Life always looks good, because the lighting is just like, doesn't matter what the texture quality is, the lighting is just always really.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
But Half-Life 1 is a long game. Like, it's surprising how long it is.
It's so
I'm
Like
at the
long.
single-player
point
games, you
where
don't
you
get.
fight the monster in the rocket shaft, or
Yeah.
with it's grabbing at me, and I don't figure it out how to survive.
Yes.
The big spiky claw thing.
Yes, I think I will switch to Black Mesa now, which is the remake of the first.
Yeah. Black
Have you
Mesa.
played it yet?
I actually got it gifted by Steve. So he gifted me Black Mesa for birthday, I think, just a few months ago, and I started up and I played it, and I never completed Half-Life 1. So that was quite a chance for me to actually complete the game finally, because I gotta be honest, I wasn't really able to finish Half-Life 1 with the whole old graphic style. It was just too. It's incredibly long, and then everything looks really. Yeah, some people really love that really old pixel 90s aesthetic, but I can't really
Try playing it
play it
at
on.
4K.
Yeah, but even then, even then. So Black Mesa, the remake is actually a great game they did there, and
Did you play it already?
I played a bit. It was enjoyable, but still, it's really hard for me to play through these long games. I have a general problem with playing long games currently. I always stop after a few hours, and then it's really sad. I don't know why that is, but for some reason it's really hard for me to keep playing games for long.
I think the gameplay of Half-Life 1 actually aged really well.
Yeah.
I have no issues. Excepting the checkpoints that were a bit hard and unfair.
Anyone else?
Anybody planning to start Alex? Today only I received my Valve Index.
Oh god.
Oh god. Lucky man.
Ah.
I'm like chomping at the bit to get it, but it's not going to be a long time.
We would love to play it, of course. Yeah.
How to
Yeah,
emulate?
just now it was like a heck of a delivery to receive it today.
Yeah.
Have you played it yet?
Yeah, I started it. I set up the everything. I started it, played for like 10 minutes, and then very next moment I see the power is gone.
Oh no. Damn. It was broken or just empty?
No, the whole power. My area got a power cut off.
Oh.
That's so typical.
That's shit. I'm sorry for that.
No issues. It happens. It happens. It's a very common thing.
Right. That's crazy. Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, Half-Life is a great series, and we are both really jealous on people who can actually play the new Half-Life, and we were kind of going a bit mad when it came out and we couldn't play it because, like, we're literally really huge fanboys, and I mean, our game is completely inspired by it, and we can't play the new thing, so it's a bit frustrating for us. Yeah, maybe in the future.
And now there's, just checking again, there's 8 weeks on the waiting list to get a Valve Index.
8 weeks.
8 weeks minimum.
Damn.
What do you mean minimum 8 weeks?
Like
If you order a Valve Index now, you gotta wait 8 weeks before you'll get it.
Yeah.
Ah, you ordered one.
I wish I had, but I haven't. And now with coronavirus going around, it's gonna be a long time till I get one.
Oh, it's out of stock, sir.
Yeah, it's completely out of stock. It's
Okay,
been out of
okay.
stock like 2 or 3 times now. They restocked it a few times. That's why I'm wondering how SJ's got his. You ordered yours really early, SJS, or how did you do it?
Yeah, I got a pre-order. Actually, in Amazon India, we had an offer. They were kind of giving pre-orders from that, like a
Alright.
20% discount if we order a pre-hand and a faster delivery also.
Oh
But
wow.
due to this lockdown and stuff, so whenever they had the stock, they gave me one.
Yeah. Right. Okay. That's amazing. Oh, I'm just seeing Ahmad. Oh yeah, Ahmad in the chat asks for a follow-up question, but he
We
actually
have
asked 2
another one.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah, the second question was actually what was the cause of Industria? So I guess like why did we do it in the first place? Yeah.
We were working on another project, and when we finished, like we were kind of talking to each other for a while because we were working quite closely on that project, and we kind of realized that we were both Portal 2 fans, Half-Life fans, so we just planned to do something after that project. And then Dave came to the UK, and we registered a company, and then started thinking about what the game was.
Yes. Pretty simple. But yeah, in the first place, we actually met each other in another project, so that was like probably the kickstart of everything, because we were just working just really good together in this other project. Basically, a bit like now, like Steve was like doing all the level design stuff and the mechanical things, and I was giving him all the models. So I was doing all the models for that level he was doing. So we worked really close together, and then realized, hey, that's actually a lot of fun, and we could actually do our own thing probably pretty quick, we thought. So not talking about quick anymore, but yeah.
When we concepted it, it was way smaller, and
Yeah.
you know how it goes. It just like gets bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
Now we don't know when to stop.
How long is this in development now?
So we started in January 2017, like every day. So like this was like literally like we decided, okay, let's do it from now on with a plan. And then since this day in January 17, we are basically, well, it's like the constant thing. Like there's basically not another project. There's just Industria since then. But before we did some some concepting here and there before. I think the first prototype is from 2015, but that was actually like there was a phase when Steve was doing more in it and actually trying to do another project with it. Before I really before we decided, okay, let's really stick to it together and let's do it together. Because I had my final exams in school, and in that time Steve was working on it alone, and so yeah, but like the Bleak Mill Industria thing since January 17, so it's 3 years and 2 months. Right, just actually.
I think we still have the original game design document somewhere, and the game is just like completely unrecognizable. It doesn't share any similarities to Industria.
It's
I've
really
seen a
different.
few drawings of like a teleporting machine and stuff from 2015.
Yeah. Yeah, like
Yeah, that was actually that was the only similarity was that plot.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, this machine actually. At some point I wanna share some really old concepts just for fun, actually, or just play the old versions into some streaming or something. That'd be nice.
The enhanced artwork edition.
Yes.
Industria classic.
I just saw that.
Just,
Sorry, that Jibo actually joined the voice chat. Hello, Jibo. Is he still here?
Hi.
Hi.
Hey.
Hi.
Yeah, I'm sorry. A little bit nervous to talk. I just figured I'd just type it out on YouTube.
That's okay.
Yeah, well,
That's all right. It's all good. Whatever you want. But hello, thanks for joining, man.
Dave.
Yes.
Should I grab one of those old videos? I've still got
Yeah, you got
one
one.
of the really, really early ones.
Right, just
It
grab
might be quite.
grab one. Grab one. Do it.
So if anyone is familiar with, this is actually from 2017, so this is quite interesting because this is still quite totally different. If
Just-
anyone
Just drop in general chat, right?
yeah, yep. If anyone played
Oh,
Alpha
God.
1, they might recognize the shape of.
I'm actually gonna.
That would.
Oh,
Yeah.
it has sound.
It has sound, yes. I'm actually gonna play it in the.
You could just
on
mute
the
the
stream.
sound. It's just ambience.
Is it with static cameras?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
Very Resident Evil-esque.
Yes, exactly.
it's a horrible decision.
You mean the static cameras?
Yes, yes.
Well, it's still nice though. I still like
I-
this concept.
Yeah, I think there's a certain beauty to static cameras,
Yeah.
especially when it comes to the old Resident Evil. That has that very nice horror
Yeah.
cinematic scenes.
I
Cause
totally
it is
agree.
horror.
Horror, doesn't it?
Yeah. Man, this is crazy. You see this thing in the middle there? That's the receiver actually.
Hmm.
So if you saw screenshots from the game, then you saw this thing, how it looks today. That's crazy.
Do you have a screenshot of that room, Dave?
The
Yeah.
lighting is already kind of good.
It's interesting, yeah.
Yeah.
Do I have actually? Yes. Let me actually just drop this in the chat.
So funny, man.
So I mean, I guess you somehow saw it somewhere before, but just to have it in the chat as a comparison. It's pretty crazy, yeah. So that is quite long ago now.
And if anyone played Alpha 2, that was going to be the original sort of city type level.
Oh god. Oh dude. I haven't seen these in a long time.
Yeah, me neither. Yeah.
Oh, check this out. Damn.
Yeah. It was going to be like no dialogue at all in the whole game. It's all going to be written
Yeah.
like by design, not just from limitations.
Yeah.
That one looks good.
Yeah, it looks kind of. I really liked it back then. I
The
remember.
foggy
Yeah.
or misty.
Yeah.
Yes, totally.
You might actually recognize some of the buildings from a post that Dave made recently.
Yeah, the Steam update actually. I was talking about the buildings, and I was dropping a screenshot in the Steam update there, and in that blog I wrote.
Yeah.
And you could actually see these buildings textured in there.
To give you an idea of how different the idea, like the concept of the game was, if you see the inventory screen pop up in that video, you can see a companion status, and the whole game was sort of based around you finding this robot and repairing it and taking it with you to do certain puzzles.
Yes.
Kind of dude.
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
it was a great idea actually.
Yeah. But we didn't really know how to do it, like technically.
Yeah.
I think it sounds like if we were to resurrect that idea, I think we'd have a much better chance of doing it now.
Yeah, but still, like building the characters, like in like 3D,
Yeah.
good-looking characters, and animate them and let them move around with AI and stuff. It's actually still quite a challenging
Yeah.
thing, isn't it?
You're gonna go the Half-Life line. First game is without companions. The second game is with.
Yes. Exactly. All right. Actually, I'm just gonna.
And I want cars.
Oh, sorry. And a what?
Cars.
Yeah. And airboats.
I never played Half-Life 2. Are there boats?
You never played Half-Life 2, what?
No.
There's a
Oh
whole
my
chapter
God.
based around like an airboat thing.
It's definitely still on my list.
It should be on your
You should
list.
do it. You should do it. I think I don't know if
Get it, man. Get it.
Yes.
It's a old gem.
Yes.
Should we go next question?
Oh yeah, let's do the next questions. Yes.
We actually have
What a chat, isn't it?
we have a question in the chat, yeah, from random guy. Hey, I got a question for you guys. Is the pandemic going to slow down the development for Industria?
Well, that's actually an interesting
Probably.
question.
It's gonna increase it.
Well, it somehow,
Kind.
yeah, somehow does.
I mean,
yeah.
I'm in the UK at the moment, and we're now required by the government to stay indoors. Like, we're not allowed to leave the house unless it's for food, basically.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of in a situation now where I'm gonna get bored if I don't work on the game.
Yeah.
There's nothing else to do.
Kind of the same for me. We are still allowed to go out, but the thing is, I'm still in uni, and that is obviously cancelled. So no uni, no school, nothing going on. So we have some weird home office work for school. Like we have to do some certain tasks and stuff, but no one is doing it, and it's a mess. And so basically, I'm just just home and working on the game. Except, in April not that much because I'm doing some freelance work. But right now, the pandemic is actually helping us, not slowing us down. So for now we're good. How are you guys actually doing with the pandemic? How are you handling it?
It's been like more than 20 days I'm sitting on home, and again today our PM has increased it to more 15 days.
Damn.
Wow.
Yeah, so simply it's in most of the places, like in my hometown, the police is not even allowing people to get out unless and until you have a proper reason why you are on the street.
So they're actually patrolling on the streets.
Yeah, exactly. But the city in which I am currently, they are like people are outside. You are allowed to go and buy your emergency stuff and come back to home as soon as possible.
Yeah.
I bet you're
Yeah.
so glad your index showed up.
Sorry?
I was saying, I bet SJ is so glad that his index showed up today.
Yeah.
Exactly. Now whatever it is, I have more 15 days. I can do whatever.
Yeah.
Just sit at home and enjoy.
Hello, Abisma.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good.
I wanted to actually do another question. Let me see. Because loads still to do. Let me actually just search the ones for the people that actually are here. Okay, Minnie actually left the chat. Okay, let me see. SJS actually had a question about incidents between us. If there are any incidents between me and Steve. which is
Any
interesting.
incidents. Every day, man.
Every fucking day, we're screaming each other, and we hate us. Basically, it's just a project keeping us here. But no, okay, just kidding. We are actually It's actually hard to remember any incident. Did we have an incident, Steve? Funny facts.
I don't really think so. No. We had probably the closest thing to a drama we had was when was it, Dave? Like last year, we really struggled to kind of carry on with the game.
Oh, you mean when we nearly killed it? Yes.
Yeah, I think it was about this time last year, wasn't
it? Yeah, let me think. That was after Alpha 2.
A bit earlier?
Wasn't it after Alpha 2? No, Alpha 2 was in June. When was Alpha 2? I think it was after Alpha 2, wasn't it?
Let's find out.
Let's find out. I can just see on the Instagram account when I posted the Alpha 2 trailer. Alpha 2 was in June 19.
Yeah. I think it was before that though.
Wasn't it before? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was before that.
Before
I think
that
was the push we made to kind of bring ourselves back on track.
Yeah.
But yeah, the closest thing to an incident we had was just sort of like for maybe 4 or 5 months, we kind of got really demotivated and wasn't really going the way we wanted, and yeah, I don't know, we just wasn't a good place. But I don't know, we just carried on and got out of it. So
yeah, but it was actually nearly. I remember we actually say, let's actually have a break of talking and let's just think each other. Like let's just think about each, and we did that. And I remember actually walking down the streets in front of my building where I live, and just like imagining how it would feel to finish, like to quit the game now. And I remember I was actually thinking, hey, that's actually quite a nice, would actually probably quite take quite a big weight off my shoulders.
yeah.
So that was actually quite that was an interesting experience. But luckily, we just actually sticked on with it. I don't know why we decided to do it in the end, but we kind of
I think we had like a week where we just didn't even go on Discord, didn't even talk about the game or anything like that. And then after a while, I think we just kind of looked back at some, well, I did at least, looked back at some videos and some builds and stuff we had. And I was like, I don't want to stop because we've done too much, and I don't know what I'd do with myself if we weren't doing this. Like, don't know. I can't play games much anymore, so
yeah,
gotta make them.
It's kind of romantic.
It's romantic.
Yeah, me and Dave had a break. Now we're back on.
Yes, exactly.
I can agree on that. I can agree.
Yeah, you can. That's always the same with these big projects, I guess. It's just this constant, this constant thing going on. I'm actually just randomly seeing a question here that kind of connects with this. There's a question here actually from some guy on Instagram. I guess he's not watching Doom on Koosh, but he was asking how we keep working on this game for years and what the motivation was. But that's basically it. It's just like constantly working on it. And actually, I think for me, one of the big subjects there, how to keep doing it, is actually the social media stuff and the community we're trying to build up. So literally you guys, because like if you're just doing this on your own for years, it's really likely to just stop. But if you get feedback, positive feedback as well from the things you do, it's it's really interesting, really important, not interesting.
That was actually that was sort of around the same time that we were struggling to motivate ourselves to work on it, wasn't it?
Yeah.
When we started the social media stuff.
Yes.
And I think like you say, that kind of just knowing that people are interested in the game kind of spurs you on. Before that, we were just doing it for ourselves, planning to still release it as a commercial game, but we just weren't. No one was seeing it, so we didn't know if it was good or if it sucked or you know.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess some of you can definitely relate. Don't know what you guys actually do and all, but I guess I know that some of you are actually doing creative stuff too, and yeah, I don't know. Just keeping on things. You just need feedback. It's so important to get feedback all the time. If you're just sitting like a hermit at home and just doing nothing else and just on your own, I don't know. Some people can do it. Some people still handle that, right? But
just lock yourself in a room for 3 years and you're GTA 6.
yeah, yeah. So for some people that's working out. Not for me, I guess. Not. Yeah, not for Steve.
I think a problem we had as well is because we weren't working with any other company or any other people. We weren't really answering to anyone.
Yeah.
And so it's really difficult to like progress and not work on something stupid.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff that we've scrapped and wasted time on, and
yeah, exactly. I'm just seeing a question from random guy in the chat. If we actually played Doom Eternal or Half-Life Alyx yet. We just talked about Half-Life Alyx. We both have not, but some of the other people here in the chat have.
I've played it.
Oh, you played it, Abysma?
Yeah.
Oh god.
did you enjoy it?
I love it.
Oh man, we are so jealous.
Way more than jealous.
Yeah.
Yeah, SJS did
Actually,
too, yeah.
Because of that, actually, I'm gonna make like a VR game before I make a regular game.
Well, that's you're right on track with that. You're working towards the future. But I think we haven't. I haven't played Doom Eternal yet. I think Steve hasn't either.
I haven't, but it's been on my radar actually, and I didn't actually play the original Doom.
Original?
So
what
like
do
I'm
you
a
mean
big
by
Doom.
original?
When did it come out?
Doom 2016?
No, it came out in like 90 something, 90.
Doom 3D.
64 or what? I actually don't have a clue
Was it
about
on
the
95?
Doom
universe.
64 was like the third or fourth Doom.
1993 originally, yeah.
Damn. That's
I
a long
never
time
actually
ago.
owned it, but I knew some people that had it, so I'm not like a big Doom fan, but people have been raving about Doom Eternal and saying it's really good. So
Yeah, they do.
I kind of wanted to play it partly for myself, but partly to kind of see how the gunplay works and see if we can.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
I recently played Doom 2016 just to get myself warm up to Doom Eternal, but I'm stuck at a level, and that's always my problem. I want to play the new game, so I play all the old games, but then I get stuck at a certain point, and it's next game.
Yeah, I know this problem.
But the gameplay is really good. I don't like the soundtrack as many others do, but the way you flow, it's you feel less walking, more like flying and sliding.
Yeah.
It's a fast pace.
Sounds great.
I agreed. I also played the Doom Eternal. I have recently finished it. So yeah, the soundtrack, the Doom 2016 had a real gem of a soundtrack. I really liked it. So
Yeah.
this one Eternal is also good, but not that standard. But yeah, the game is good enough. Easily to play, finish everything. It was a way to just ride on and finish it.
Yeah.
I actually I love the new like the new soundtrack for Doom. But like also a thing that like Doom Eternal brings from Doom 2016, like that's different from it, is in Doom 2016 it was almost just like you could shoot the entire time. You wouldn't have to worry about anything basically.
Yeah.
Maybe sometimes your health and stuff. but with Doom Eternal they changed that, so it's like almost a balance, but like it's strategic killing basically. Like you kill the demons very
I'm never going
strategically.
to complete that game.
I heard that they actually really stripped down the ammo count, so you actually load ammo the whole time, and you really have to use the same shot to saw grunts and get ammo out of that as a mechanic, because really ammo sprays out if you kill them with the chainsaw.
Yes, on the higher difficulty settings from Doom 2016, it was more the strategy to shoot enemies in the limbs and not in the head, to make them this how is it called, special kill?
Yeah, like
where you kill it with a brutal
glory,
animation, and then you get glory kill, and then
glory kill.
you gain
That was a glory
life
kill.
points and ammunition.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's the thing is, I have played Doom 16 just a bit. I got some free code, some free key, because I was in EGX here in Berlin, like the game convention, and they gave free keys to everyone there. And that was cool. I played it the first few, like 30 minutes, and I get it all. It's like it's great, fluent, and the gameplay is probably really polished and great. And for Doom fans, it's probably a absolute fest. For me, it's not that much, because I'm just not into this whole universe that much, and I kind of like maybe it's too brutal for me. I don't know. It's like
stupid splatter.
Yeah, like killing the people all the time with the same shot. If you think it's crazy, but hey, everyone has his own taste, so it's not really my taste. But I see it's a great game. I see that.
I think we could learn a lot from that combat though.
Yeah.
Like gunplay.
Yeah.
Like one of the best ever.
Yeah, it totally is. It's just really classic, isn't it?
We have some more questions here from Henrik.
Yes.
In chat. What's your average poly count in a scene, and your average texture size?
All right.
Well, texture size is a lot easier to answer. We're keeping below 4K. Most of the stuff is like a 1K or lower.
Yeah.
Some things are 2K. Do we have any 4K textures?
I do think you have one at the in the trailer on the Steam page. The floor texture with the branches on the ground is really high res.
Which one?
Yeah, he means the
picture you posted into
the
Discord. The floor texture is really high res.
They are definitely 2K, not 4K. I scaled them all down for sure. But we have some 4K stuff. Recently we added this like on bigger objects, just a really few. Yeah. We try to not do it any really. I heard
HDRI?
Sorry?
HDRIs?
Neither.
Resolution of the...
We don't have any HDRIs yet.
How do you do the lighting then?
You mean like skyboxes? Or...
Yes.
Right. We don't have any skyboxes.
That's kind of interesting.
No, we just currently... Okay, we wanted to add some skyboxes recently, and they were all like some preview things from someone I know, and they were all 2K, and that was definitely not high enough. So in this case, we would definitely use 4K ones for the sky. That would make a lot of sense.
At the moment, we're literally just using atmospheric fog and some color.
In Unreal Engine 4,
there's no texture detail in the sky at all yet.
Exactly. Yeah. Just a quick question. Who of you here in the chat and in the talk is actually doing something with 3D or games?
I am.
I am.
Well, right. That is definitely me.
Alright, SJS?
No man, I'm a too hardware guy. Full of hardware.
But you're doing hardware stuff, aren't you?
Yep, I'm in the AMD processor construction side, which they have in India. The only one plant.
Oh my god, I'm the biggest AMD fanboy.
Thanks, man.
No, that's me.
Yeah, we used to work on the Threadripper lineup when it was the initial one which came to us. Not for like the real manufacturing stuff, we don't have any much manufacturing in India, but we used to be like troubleshooting part and do the internal architecture and all. We used to check a lot.
Right.
Really, really, really.
All right.
I do. I'm sitting next to a Threadripper 1920X right now.
Ooh. Yeah,
Okay, even we, it
I
was like a challenge for us also. Just to do a
I
64 core, it was like 4 day work just for me, 24 hours, all 4 days, 24 hours, just to sort out one problem. If anything happens to architecture, it was like a big headache for our team as well.
Damn.
Wow.
Whew.
I
That's
have
Indian working
a
condition.
2700X in my system.
27. Yeah. Actually,
OC or stock?
Uh, s- stock, I think, but I
Okay.
have water cooling on it.
What? That doesn't make much sense. Okay.
It doesn't matter. I have an RX 580. I can't manage money.
That's okay. Actually,
Fits
so
your system. I think it's kind of it fits. There's no mismanagement.
I'm just thinking. Oh, so actually, what I wanted to ask with this is so everyone actually knows what textures is, what textures are, and
Yeah, that much basics I know, that much basics I can understand, but like if you go into too much, that poly count I somehow understood, but this blueprints and all, I'm like this asset store I know, but this Maximo and blueprint, that I'm not sure of.
yeah, right. Okay. Well, that's crazy, and because then everyone is actually probably knows what we're talking about when we talk about textures and optimization that Henrik asks. Yeah.
Well, we're using some asset store stuff, but we're trying to keep it minimal, basically.
Oh right. Wasn't it? What was that
But
question?
yeah, he had like 5 questions altogether.
Oh.
The other one was, are we Blueprint or C++? We can't program at all, so the whole thing is Blueprint.
Yes.
Which may be a good thing, maybe a bad thing.
It's all Steve's skills here. And also optimization. How much time do you spend on optimization?
We actually we've redesigned the same level 3 times now.
Yep.
For optimization purposes.
Yes.
Testen.
Yeah. Exactly.
We had a really cool, like the first concept for that is the streets level, which was Alpha 2, and we had a really cool concept for that originally, but it was just enormous, and it just was really stupid for frame rate. So we had to kick that in the bin.
Yep. And now we recently just kicked more stuff in the bin. So if anyone played of you Alpha 2, it's not looking like that anymore anyway. So
yeah, it's changed a lot.
For the better.
Crazy.
For the better. Yeah. For optimization.
Yeah, I have a lot of memories when the Alpha 2 came out.
The Alpha 2, you mean?
Yeah, when the Alpha 2 came out, oh my god, that was like quite interesting time for me when I was like kind of robbed. I remember, I think you remember, David, I think when I pinged you when this happened.
Oh, of course you did. Yes.
Yeah.
What happened again exactly? I don't remember exactly.
Yeah. Somebody just came into our hotel room and took out our bags and all stuff.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Shit. Oh god, that was the time. That was Alpha 2. I'm sorry.
No issues, man. No issues.
Let me actually
Someone.
Yeah, sorry.
I have a quick question for Steve.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Regarding the blueprints part, how did you learn it? And if you can't give me a direct answer, can you recommend me any good tutorials on the blueprint part, because I'm not able to find any, because I'm coming from Unity and I'm trying to get myself into Unreal now.
Yeah.
Well, it took a long time to learn Blueprint, but I didn't actually know it before Industria, and I just learned it for what we needed to do, which is probably why we've done a lot of redesign. Sorry, Dave.
That's okay. I did the same with my really bad modeling techniques.
The only tutorials I can really recommend is basically stuff by Epic, because there's so much stuff on YouTube that is really bad practice. There's there's just loads of the same tutorial that just you shouldn't be doing because
I hate it. I hate it.
I know.
Same for Blender. You get the introduction to Blender like 5 million times.
Yeah.
But yeah, like practice is really hard to find. It gets more and more though. We talked with a Epic employee, Steve and me, and we had a call with him, and he was actually also saying better be careful with the tutorials you find on YouTube, because like Steve said, a lot of it's actually bad practice and actually gives you, well, if you learn it and you do your game with it and you want to release it and you actually realize all the stuff I did there was actually optimization wise an absolute nightmare.
Yeah.
And you have to redo anything. I mean, that's actually terrible.
It's really bad, yeah. And if you're trying to do something with complicated environments like Industria, then it will really kick you in the teeth when you've got like 5 FPS because your blueprints are really
Okay, guys, one dumb question. What what actually is a blueprint? Can you explain?
Sure.
It's basically a visual equivalent of a C++ class. So if you can imagine like a code file, it's basically that in a visual form.
So you're not typing code anymore, SJs. You actually you have, it's node based, so you just have little windows you connect with little cables, you know, like on your screen. So it's like all really like a visual coding language.
Okay, more or less kind of like that flow charts, kind of.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So that's Blueprint there in the chat, and it's basically each one of those nodes represents a little snippet of code or like a variable or something like that.
Yes.
If you've used UDK, it's something like Kismet, or if you've used I'm sure Unity has some equivalent, like some basic form of scripting in the end.
Plugins for that. I think Bastian probably knows that better, but I heard that there's actually plugins for that.
Yes, but the most there's with Unity 2019 they did something like that. They wanted to make this the new main thing, but then it didn't work, and then they completely throw it overboard. But there's a new material shader, and it's kind of like that. It's like materials in cycles, and it looks like that, and it works the same.
Right.
It's just another vocabulary that you have to learn.
Yep.
Whereas in Blueprints, it's actually really based on C++, right? So if you know C++, you can use Blueprints, and if you know Blueprints, you can probably, even if you never saw C++, you could probably, if you read through it, somehow get an idea what's going on somehow. I don't know, Steve gotta say that, but that's what I imagine it.
Yeah, I mean, I had kind of like a basic theoretical knowledge of programming, but I didn't know technicals or anything like that. But actually, the guy at Epic we spoke to, he suggested that it might not be favorable to know programming before you do scripting, because some of it is quite different.
Yes.
I did a little bit of Java, and that's totally different. But yeah, if you have like a fundamental idea of how programming works, I think that'll help. Yes. But the best thing to do is literally see what Epic is saying about it. They've got loads of like hour-long tutorials on loads of random stuff, and the best thing to do is just make some crappy little game to learn how things work and how everything kind of relates to itself.
Oh yeah, and don't do a huge game first.
Yeah. Some of the scripts in Industria are just like spaghetti. It's just horrible.
I'm already struggling with my walking simulator I'm working on.
Yeah, well, that's actually optimization wise, you got to do a lot there, right? Too.
Flow wise, yes, but not performance. It's really basic. Okay. It's like jump and run and a little bit parkour. And a little riddling.
Right. Is that 3D or 2D?
3D.
Right.
What's an example of something you're struggling on?
Sorry?
Can you give me an example of something you're struggling with?
Player transformation.
Player transformation.
Is that for like the
Yes.
parkour?
Yes. For the parkour, lifts and stuff, or
Yeah.
moving objects and interacting with
Yeah.
moving objects.
That stuff.
I have like a level where the player has to push an object into a hole in the ground, and it's a little bit janky right now. I managed to
Yeah.
fix it by avoiding the object to get out from the level by setting the floor a bit down, so it's flowing in the middle always. So you just have to be fast enough.
Yeah.
It's rearranging the physics of stuff to avoid this
That
shit.
stuff gets really difficult. And, like, kind of, I mean, if you're literally like moving a box from left to right, then you could have something like maybe that actor has a spline and you're just moving it along the spline or something like that.
It's a sphere.
All right. Yeah, there's loads of ways you could do it. Not one is,
yes.
is perfect.
I
but
did found loads of tutorials for it, and it's horrible.
yeah, just avoid the tick event. If you can get away with doing stuff without the tick event, do it, because you don't want to use it.
Oh yeah, that's a really big point there. Actually, I think Hendrik had some more questions. Anyone else? Sorry.
I have the additional problem of like now I want to make a VR game and there's barely any tutorials on anything VR.
Oh god, yeah. Yeah, I can imagine that. There's still something really new.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know where to start actually. Like the whole controlling how to set this up with Unreal. Don't know.
I think Epic
Yeah.
has a big tutorial for it.
Do they have a tutorial for that? Epic.
Yeah, they've got a live training session for VR setup. Just put it in the chat. I don't know how helpful that is because we haven't set up a VR, but
yeah, these live trainings are actually sometimes really good. Actually.
Yeah, the only problem with them is sometimes they can be really slow to get to the point.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
You know, if you're sitting at your desk having dinner, put that on.
Yeah.
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 Like, what I'm gonna try and do like right now is I don't want any mechanics yet. I just want to make something that looks pretty. But like I don't
Try a walking simulator.
Yeah, it's easier to make a walking simulator in VR.
Yeah, totally.
I mean,
But like,
Hideo Kojima did a walking simulator and it was successful then.
It was one of the best
Yeah.
games of our
Yeah.
decade.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
Agreed.
basically.
Oh, we gotta say that there's loads of mechanics added to this whole walking there still. So I guess that will still need work to figure this out, how it works with the, like in Death Stranding, how like with how you walk and how you fall, what like the obstacles, how you fall down. I think that's quite complicated to set up, if I imagine it to do.
what I'm gonna try and do like right now is I want like an interact system, like a quick one where I can just press buttons, and then I just want that to trigger like certain animations for the world, and that's like it.
Well, it's okay.
Animation integration is really hard, I think. It's one of my additionally main issues.
It's not as difficult as you think though. Once you kind of understand a few things. Like,
Yes.
the best thing to do is if you're using like animation on demand, you want to use montages, and you can basically any blueprint class can call an animation montage at any time, and that basically takes priority over the animation blueprint. So if you're gonna do like maybe you walk up to a door and it opens, you could just have like in Industria we have skeletal meshes for doors, and they're animated. And every item that you can interact with in Industria shares the same interface class, which is just called something like interact interface or something like that. And basically that gives you like a set of function inputs, whatever you define, and the only thing we've defined on ours is on use. So if I go up to any actor with that interface and press my use key, it will execute whatever that function is.
Damn.
It gets complicated, but
I don't
if
have
you're struggling with animations, use montages.
Yeah. That's actually something I also know, but the rest, I don't know anything about blueprints. I'm honest. I gotta be honest here.
I have a question aside from games. Do you
Yes.
ever consider going into the VFX industry like what Ian Hubert did?
If we have considered to go in the VFX industry, you mean like CG stuff?
Yeah.
Um,
Not really.
Not really. Yeah, I think I'm not. I'm personally not into CG that much that I would actually love to work there a lot. Like the thing is, I think what I'm more into is actually storytelling and creating some atmospheric world, which you can still probably do in CGI, but in CGI it's I guess more about really high professional, really technical skills you need there to like animation, VFX stuff.
I think it was the same for me because initially I wanted to learn gaming as well. But when I saw how you need to learn all these codes and nodes and all these functions, it really demotivated me. So another way I thought I could do some form of storytelling was through uh, filmmaking, more specifically doing CG work.
Right. Well, the thing is, I think if you want to tell stories, you can do it with everything. So, like, with even drawing a picture, right? And then you could actually go from there to draw a few pictures and animate some things, and you could do the same with really simple games, right? So you can do a walking simulator. I think there's nothing wrong with it, you know. So that's totally cool, and you just learn to do some models with Blender or some other software, and just start and really concentrate on the story you want to tell. And I think there's just a million ways to do it, and I think you don't have to learn crazy complicated things because hey, I haven't studied any of this, right? We're just always doing this next in our free time, and most of the people actually do that like that. I know, you know. So I wouldn't be able to probably just start at some like EA or some Bethesda and do some professional 3D environment art. Probably they couldn't take me because I just don't know a lot of basics.
Industry standard.
Industry standard stuff, yeah.
Right.
There's a lot of stuff
Maybe
missing
I
there.
can add to this.
Yeah.
Because I'm currently at the same spot as Chibo. Asked. I knew I was going to study at SAE next year, but I was between sides whether I should do VFX or game art. And I also was at a point where I didn't knew, am I going to do game art or game design or game programming? And the first obstacle you arrive on is the what do I want to make in the end?
Yeah.
And what do I enjoy actually making right now?
Yeah.
And I really enjoy, which is the one of the most striking points that made me make my decision, is the scene-like community of gaming. It's a much more warmth and in-depth community, and it has this less elitary Bullock environment. It's more like a party all the time, which is really exaggerated, but I think there are more assholes in VFX than in game art.
Yeah, I mean VFX is definitely the whole CG thing is probably way older than the games industry,
Yes.
right? The games industry is just a really young place, right?
It's more how do you say, traditional.
Yeah, exactly. It's
concept.
Traditional, and you have people that are like probably like 50 or 60 and that started with the first consoles with doing like some CG stuff, and I don't know, it's like the game stuff is really really young still, and everything feels a bit like improvised, and that makes it really sympathetic or like friendly. Yeah, that's.
On the other hand, I think it's a bit easier, or actually way easier, to get a freelancing career with VFX than with game art or game design, because you need a team for game development usually. If you don't want to make like walking simulator something big, you will need a team for doing that.
You should.
I think I agree with Bastian, because when I started my 3D career, I was trying to focus on game art and learning Unity or Unreal and all that. But at one point, I realized like, oh man, I need some money to support this. So I started going into product design, mainly just doing a lot of 3D renders for local brands like perfume, all that stuff. And then I think like, wow, there's a quite I get more demand from this scope as opposed to what I'm doing at the moment. So I think having that kind of motivation financially drove me more towards the product renders, and I just kind of forgot about gaming. Just a little bit sad.
I know. Yeah,
so
of
you
course.
became from a 3D artist to a 3D designer?
What?
So you became from a 3D artist to a 3D designer?
No, I became from trying to become a game developer to a product designer.
Yeah.
Okay. More visualized for
Yeah.
and marketing. How
Yeah.
is it called?
I just call myself a 3D visualizer, product visualizer.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a good name.
Yeah, I mean, at some point, yeah, you gotta support this whole party with money. So,
yes,
we're not doing this full time, right? We couldn't. How could we live from Industria right now? Even if it's out, and even if we would have a huge success, it would probably be only enough for like the next project, like to fund us 1 or 2 years, you know. So that's the best case. Speaking of the absolute best case, so earning money with games is still a huge question mark.
Right. Yeah. Speaking of the future, what about when you actually release Industria? Do you plan on releasing future content for it, or when it's released, that's it?
Well, that's a nice question. Yeah, we would definitely be. I think we would definitely be interested in adding more content for it. Like, one thing I'm dreaming of is creating a mod support for Industria. That'd be the coolest thing, that people could actually do their own maps with our assets. That'd be amazing. But yeah, definitely something we want to do. This really depends on how the release actually turns out. But if it turns out okay, we might want to try to do console releases for Industria.
Yeah.
Oh,
that'd be cool.
One of the other ideas we were kicking about was some like short story DLC or something like
DLCs.
that.
Yeah. That'd be really cool, actually.
If you're releasing for console, will that have a lot of impact on the technical side? Like you have to recode a lot of things, or
potentially, yeah.
Potentially.
Most of the blueprint will be okay. It's just gonna be visuals that we might have to.
Yeah, optimization and stuff.
Yeah.
I also think the game is more laid out to play it with a mouse and keyboard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think all FPS games. Yeah.
But none of the like inventory screens, or like the pause menu, none of that will accept a controller.
No. Oh, there's a pause menu.
Yeah.
There is. Yeah. Was that in the alpha? I don't know if it was.
It crashed the alpha always.
I never played the alpha. I never got to play anything from Industria so far.
That's a shame.
It's a pity.
Yeah, me neither.
Well, next time.
Okay, because it's a completely different game.
Yeah, it's really different anyway.
Well, I got to send in a prop at least.
Yeah, you did.
I just posted in the art room probably like one of the biggest projects I've done, which is, it's not even like really anything like personal game related, but it's like a mod for a game I like.
Yeah.
And that mod is kind of at like basically nowhere right now.
Basically what? Sorry.
It hasn't gone anywhere in a while because the programmer kind of just like, I don't know what he's doing right now.
Yeah.
But what that is, it's for Subnautica.
Oh, nice.
And it's a custom submarine.
Ooh.
We intended to make like an entire like framework to make it easy to add custom submarines to the game, because it's like literally the hardest thing in the game apparently, or at least from what we've been told by developers, like by the developers of Subnautica and stuff.
Yeah.
But like we meant to make the entire thing, and the manta, which is what that is, that's its name, was actually already a concept art that existed at the time that was like official by by the Subnautica developers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably like the biggest thing I've worked on. And
That's
like it's
awesome.
actually, yeah.
That's great.
That's cool, man. Yeah, modding is absolutely.
That's how we got started. Was just modding stuff.
Yeah.
And they were really awful mods. That's like way better than.
I think I only did one mod though. 2 for Skyrim. I was doing Skyrim modding.
Yeah.
Was it a nasty mod?
Sorry?
Was it a nasty one?
No, it wasn't. It was a weapon. It was a dagger actually. I was really proud of it. It was actually downloaded quite a few times.
Do you have a link?
Do I have a link? Of course. Wait a second.
I want to see.
Skyrim.
I think I'm gonna have to do something like that soon too, just to boost my ego.
Yeah. Skyrim Nexus. There it is. Oh. Oh god. 2013.
Oh.
God.
I posted.
Sorry?
An image. I posted an image of it actually in game.
Ah, nice. Let me check.
And it's below the official submarine.
Where in the art and showroom. Ooh. Nice one.
Where did he show it?
Nice.
In the art and showroom channel.
Art.
Love it. That's really cool. Like really cool design, man. I love the head.
I like it.
The head is really cool, like the cockpit.
Yeah, like I said, we took it from concept art from the actual game.
Yeah. Let me. I think this is the mod here. I just grab it in the chat here. I just put in the general chat. It's just really.
It looks like a penguin.
Yeah, doesn't it?
Here, this was the official concept art. It's kind of like straight away a bit from that art.
Looks like a kitchen knife.
It's a kitchen knife, isn't it?
It's a kitchen knife.
It's like you took your CS:GO character into Skyrim as well.
Yeah, it's a bit over the top, isn't it? Also, I was really proud of my 4K textures. Stupidest thing ever.
I want to
Also, please check out the beautiful font I used on the show thing.
David, get the link.
What? Sorry?
Where is it?
It's on.
I need a link for it.
General chat.
Oh, sorry.
Did you use 4K textures on it?
Yes, so stupid.
The 4K dagger of Hammerfell.
Nice.
Exactly. It's so stupid, man. It's so stupid. Also, it doesn't fit in this world at all.
I love the wood planks texture.
Yes, the wood planks texture and like this engraved font, like way too clean.
Kill.
Just really ugly. Sorry?
Sorry, never mind.
Okay.
But
That
dude,
was.
you got it in game. That's great.
Yeah, that was so much work. You can't imagine how work this was to get it working in this pile of trash engine of Bethesda. worst engine I've ever seen anywhere. Like literally, this is an absolute nightmare to work with. Like even if you start up, you already get like 30 error messages you have to click through. That's like standard.
It's like Inventor. It's like Autodesk software.
Yeah, worse, way worse. Oh god, yeah.
Means here I am the only one who has no idea of game development.
Sorry?
You're not alone. You're not alone. I think Ian Hubert recently posted like a video on how he did a lot of motion tracking with green screens.
Oh, it's like the best thing I've ever seen.
Right.
So
It looks so cool.
Yeah, that guy is really cool, isn't he? Good man.
And I think like anyone who ever actually touched a Blender, the first person would be probably Andrew Price to teach them.
No, it was actually the German guy with the
Agenzas brothers.
bald head.
You know these guys, Agenzas brothers?
No, never.
This
Gleb?
guy. Sorry?
Gleb Alexandrov?
Yes, I did a tank tutorial, and the fluid one, from him. And CG guy, Steve.
CG
Meta. Not CG Meta is another guy.
CG Meta. CG Geek.
CG Geek.
The first tutorial I watched for Blender was Brackeys, which is like a Unity developer.
Brackeys is a really good Unity tutorial.
Yeah, and he made like a short tutorial on Blender, but then I did the Andrew Price one, and like my stuff got way better.
Okay. Yes, he's more like more of a coder than an artist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Finn says hi guys. Hello Finn.
Hello Finn. Wait.
Have you guys done Ludum Dare?
No.
We did do an epic jam though. What was that one? Spring jam?
Epic Summer Jam, I think.
Summer jam.
What was it?
The theme, you mean? Or the game?
The game.
Oh, nice. Oh, you could play this game then. You'd actually play something from us anyway.
It's something kind of different.
Yeah, you pasted that in the chat.
In general.
Yeah. That was the first game we basically ever completed, so...
I heard from that.
Yeah, it's actually been played on YouTube for quite some people.
Let me just quickly check something. Is this game released?
Yeah.
It's free on itch. Yeah.
Okay. And it's called Jonathan Whale.
Jonathan's Whale. Yeah.
Jonathan.
I just put in a chat for the people that actually are interested there.
Yes. Cheers.
I'm spamming the art chat full with random planes.
So yeah, that game was actually our first game we ever completed, so that was interesting. That was cool. Let me actually just look something up.
Just bear in mind that is a game jam game, so you'll literally finish it in like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
We were still kind of happy with it.
I think we did that in 2 days or 3 days? 3 days. I think 3 days was it?
Yeah.
Well, it's 3D.
It's 3D, yes.
Well, it looks kind of creepy.
It's a little bit surreal.
Yeah, it's a bit weird.
If you can make sense of the story, then hats off to you.
Yeah.
Is it a horror game?
No.
No.
No, not really. Not really. But it was great fun to make.
That was really refreshing, actually, wasn't it? Because
Yeah.
we could just put Industria down for a bit and do something completely wacky.
Yeah.
I thought I was done
Get another
spamming
question.
planes, but I guess still have one.
Sorry?
I thought I was done spamming planes, but there was another one. There we are. I think that's all of them now.
Nice stuff, man.
Nice.
That's a lot of planes. So yeah, actually, did any one of you actually? I think the other people who asked questions aren't actually not here right now, are they? No, I don't think so.
We lost 3 viewers.
Yes, they get just bored by our random talk. They can't
Rambles.
follow. That's okay. But hey, that's actually nice. There's so much more questions, but
At least I'm on the internet.
sorry.
Yep.
Nothing.
Oh. So yeah, I guess we just do the other questions on another Q&A stream.
Quick thing I wanted to ask.
Yeah.
Marketing. That was one of my questions.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Any
Marketing.
plans for marketing? I'm just seeing that in the document here.
And I don't specifically mean like advertisement, but more like paid plays from YouTubers, because I think this will give the game a huge boost.
Yeah. Well, from our strategy, it's definitely more about building a community.
Okay.
So it's not really marketing, is it? But the most important thing is nowadays to kind of stick out, right? So every game developer has that problem that there's too many games being released. So your main focus should be starting to find people that are interested in your project, basically. And that could happen through so many different channels. You just have to be really active, and that's what we try as well, right? It's just not really easy always to keep that up, yeah, to keep track of that. But of course, placed products, gameplays, placed gameplays are definitely something to do, but that can get really costly. So that depends on how big the YouTuber is, but you'll be poor really quickly. So I wouldn't really recommend that. I think a better strategy is actually to build a community, be active on all the current channels, share your knowledge with the people, do tutorials if you can. All these sort of things. Make a website, make a press kit, reach out to publishers, and then also to YouTubers, right? You can just make a big list of YouTubers that actually have something like 10k, 20k subscribers, and you just ask them if they're interested to play your game. So that's something we're probably gonna do, and these people are always willing to play your game because they get content from that. They get a key from you, right, for free, and then they have a nice video for their community. So it's like some sharing thing. Of course, if they get like really high subscriber numbers, 500k, 800k, 1 million, no chance. Like, you would pay a fortune to do that. So you would probably need a publisher who has connections and these sort of.
Yes.
Yeah, because for 1 second OBS had no connection anymore and it stopped the stream. It started again.
We're at 8 views again.
That's interesting.
Yes, the host says hello.
I think we should be back to the stream now.
Yeah, it's back up again.
Okay.
I found.
Sorry, Bastian, what were you saying? You repeat it once more.
For the third time.
Yeah.
What got me into Industria? I have to spit it out. I was chewing some piece of metal. What got me into Industria was the Planet tutorials on Instagram. I think they went a bit viral once.
Yes, they did. These things are actually a really good example of good social media content that can drive a lot of people together. So that just worked out really good for us because our game is like based around all these models, right? It's something really visual, and
Blender is already a good community.
Blender has a great community that really enjoys tutorials and stuff like that. And modeling something can be really quick in Blender if you do it right. So in Blender, doing speed modeling is actually something really efficient. And yeah, that would just worked out really good for us, and obviously grew our Instagram channel a lot. And then the Instagram channel really drove a lot of people towards our Discord, right? And that again is driving people now to YouTube. So it's like a chain reaction at the end.
It takes a heck of a lot of time, though, doesn't it? Like,
yes,
it's like a real big commitment doing it. But like Dave said, if you're going to be modeling something anyway, film it, stick it on Instagram. You're going to get some viewers.
I thought about that.
Yeah, and the best thing to do is just start as early as you possibly can. Don't think about putting money down onto it. Just start as early as you can. Doesn't matter how early your project is.
I found out about you through through a post on r/Blender.
Oh, on the Reddit.
Yeah.
Nice. On this was it this tutorial, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was the export tutorial, I think, or whatever. Like
the Unreal 2 Blender.
Unreal.
Yeah. That video went really good on our side actually. That was cool. Yeah, Reddit is another thing, right? Where another.
I had the famous Reddit moment once. Do you guys know War Thunder?
Yes.
Yes. Do you guys play War Thunder or are active community member?
No.
Okay. Do you guys know a bit about tanks?
A bit, yes, a bit. We should know a bit.
Do you know the Bob Sample tank?
No.
Okay. It is basically a meme tank. It was just a steel hut on wheels that the Australians made and at the end of Second World War. And because we are all autistic and stupid people, we wanted War Thunder to add this game into War Thunder. And they got annoyed, and we annoyed them for many months. And at some point, they just said, if you're gonna make a model that works, you're gonna put it in the game. And the thing went more and more up, and then some people joined together, and I became the head modeler for this thing. And I actually managed to finish it. Whole thing was already modeled and textured. But then that was it. There was no response from the developers. And then we went on Reddit and wanted to know what was the reason behind all that. And a huge thing about Reddit is that you have the ability to downvote things.
Yeah, of course.
And when we went on Reddit, we immediately went like sub thousands. It was many hates.
Oh god.
Yes.
So that's your Reddit story.
There was a bit of a bias against us.
Yeah, well, Reddit is. It can be really, because of the downvote thing. It can get really salty, and but still Reddit is still quite some positive thing. Like if you compare it to Imager is the absolute nightmare of communities on this planet. I've never seen something more salty and insulting and hateful than this community. It's crazy. Like, normally people don't hate our stuff we post. Whether I post it on Twitter, on Instagram, Facebook, on the Discord, people don't hate it. Maybe people criticize it. That's cool, right? I'm good with that.
Me?
But there's never. Yeah, that's cool, right? criticizing is really important. I'm not getting any bad feelings because of critique. The thing is, whatever you do, whatever I do on Imager, you only get like 2 upvotes, 10 downvotes, and 3 hate comments, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. You just get hate comments instantly, like troll comments, hate comments, all that kind of stuff. So I got really frustrated by that, and although it's stupid because people are just doing these comments for fun to give you a bad day.
People are more eager to dislike than to like something.
Yeah, well, it looks like it, right? Because it really depends on what you focus is on. Because of course, if I imagine myself scrolling through Steam reviews of my own game, I would scroll through all the positive ones and just look for that one negative review and be really frustrated by that one negative review, right? That's how we work as humans, I guess. So we really look out for bad things. But on Imager, literally, you only get bad comments if you start out there. So I try to avoid this platform because it's just like Reddit worked out pretty good for us as well. But it can get really dangerous if you do things that are
polarized.
Yeah. That polarized, because then you can get wrecked really quickly. Yes.
Yeah, even I also joined through Instagram, I think. Even before the first alpha was even released, I joined.
Yeah.
SJ is like here for ages.
I think you were one of the first, first couple hundred maybe, I want to say.
Yeah, definitely. On Instagram, definitely. One of the first followers. That's crazy. It's a long time ago. So yeah, Instagram was a great platform for us actually to get going, to start something.
Yeah. We started on Facebook, didn't we? But Facebook's really bad for building audience.
Forget Facebook.
It's just.
Oh, I love Facebook.
No.
But I deleted it a year ago because it totally destroyed my social life.
Yeah. Well, for me it's more like chatting only there anymore. Like even if I see someone posting anything on Facebook, they get 2 likes and no one comments it anyway. So it seems kind of dead for me.
It's basically
Now it depends on the scene you're in.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, there's still the indie game groups, Unreal groups. These are quite cool. We post there regularly, and there's nice Facebook groups, obviously.
Yes. Yeah, Facebook is one of the things. Either you are Facebook or you don't use Facebook.
Yes, exactly. But
actually, I'm on Facebook just for memes. Just for the Indian memes.
Than on Instagram. That's right.
Yeah, I'm just on Facebook just for some Indian memes to see.
Yeah.
Mostly on Reddit.
Yeah, Reddit is a place for that too. But actually, the Facebook groups are another subject that can be problematic. Like if you ever shared something on these groups, you probably know what I mean. You only get like feedback from other devs, and that's cool, but it will be critique, of course, because they know what you're doing there, and that's actually a problem when you're starting out with game development. You want to do, and you're doing a game and you want to market it, and you think you can actually do like some marketing on the indie dev groups. Just forget it. You may drive some traffic, you may get some likes, but you will obviously just get critique, and these are not people that really are your target group. That's something. They can be a target group, of course, if you do a game and they just obviously like I'm playing games as well, right? I can be a fan of a game, even if I'm a developer, but I will look at the game in a different light.
Yes.
Right. It will be a much harder review on Steam, probably. So yeah, that's something else to keep in mind, I think, when doing social media activity for your game.
Well, everybody is an expert on the internet.
That's
Yep.
That's true as well. I just saw we got joined by JD Gigant.
Oh, David. Spell it right.
Gigant? Gigant?
Giant.
Giant? No.
Gigant.
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 Yeah.
Well, if it's
Giggity.
So as you will see in the future when you release your game on Steam, the worst feedback you get is from players on Steam.
yes. Yeah, that's true.
Definitely.
But I think playtime is a huge indicator of most of these comments.
Yeah,
Because
but if you,
all the bad comments under 10 minutes of gameplay, it's just whoosh.
yeah, but sometimes you have games with players with about 500, 600 hours and they're writing a negative review about your game, so that's a bit nuts.
And it's mostly because the game's not good anymore.
It was too expensive. It was not worth it.
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, marketing. Bastian, I hope
It was a good answer.
Yeah, was it?
Yes.
Not sure if it's been approved by someone else in the chat. I'm not sure if you heard it.
Yeah, I'm listening for about 20 minutes now, so
Okay. So
I've heard everything.
say approve or say not approve. It's approved. I hope it's approved.
Yeah, I think your critics on Imager was a bit, was very, very negative, but true for most parts of it. Yeah, but the most of it was true. Yeah, so approved.
Okay. Well, I just drop you the link of our Imager account where we post sometimes on Imager, right? Where I try out things. For some reason, I hope my internet is not going down again because it's really slow. Hopefully, the stream is still running. Oh, God.
Eager to get entertained.
You will get entertained. Wait a sec. Posts. Okay. It's not loading for me, but at least I have the link. I just drop it into general chat, and you check this out. Check out the posts. Check out the comments. It will speak for itself, I think. I have a really, like, since the last post, I have a really, like, a hate relationship with this platform. Really.
Oh, because you wrote Half-Life 2 in the title, I think.
Yeah, probably.
Does not fill me with confidence.
What kind of comment is that?
Monaco.
It's like always they making fun of you. It's like constantly. Like even if you've not done anything, you just get like.
It's so cynic and yes.
Always a pinch of salt the whole time, like every time. And sometimes, yeah, lots of salt. More toxic, actually. It's more toxic.
The thing like the solid 15 FPS is something I often write myself. It's not meant. It's not even meant critical. It's just meant fun. But I understand that this can confusing and frustrating to read something like that.
Don't know. Like I'm not like this kind of comment is not like making me sad or something. It's just the number of things that make me sad. You know.
Yeah.
Like you only get these sort of comments. It's really rare to just get one positive normal comment, right? Like one what I would do if I like something or if I see something, I would then just comment something. That's all good, you know. That's it. But these comments on these platforms are like also always that like really, yeah, just always that way. Don't know why.
I just now opened your profile on Imgur. Just now saw one guy had a comment on your photo. Looks good. I mean, I won't buy it, but still looks good. I'm like,
That's what I mean. Like, you could just say, looks good.
yeah, just type looks good. Save your time. That's it.
Yeah.
So much of stuff.
Yeah. So why is he saying that? I don't know why. But I guess that's just this Reddit image internet humor that I don't understand. Maybe I just don't get it. Maybe it's all.
So if you're building something that you really like or something that you really love, then don't publish your stuff on Imgur. So
yeah.
That was a good marketing tool for about 1.5 years, but that's not that thing anymore, and there's not that you can't convert interest from Imgur to wherever that good nowadays, because the community noticed that they were used as a marketing tool, and that's the reaction of the community on such postings, even if you don't have in mind to convert them to your Steam wish list or whatever.
Yeah, probably it's just a reaction of them. Don't know. It's not like that in Reddit though, right? Although Reddit is also like a really serious platform, but still, people are okay with this.
So what's what are you doing when you're visiting Reddit? And even if you don't use it for some professional use to spread the word on your project or something like that, then it's all just about fun and memes and crazy videos and stuff. So there are not much users on Imgur that are not looking for those kind of shit. So they're not. So and Reddit is a more professional platform when it comes to this dev thing and this indie game scene thing. That's more professional there. And if you post your stuff to the indie game channels, to developer channels and all of that, then you get professional feedback from them. So
yeah, that's what I really liked about it. Like, there's actually literally like huge discussions going on. About like little details. Like, there's just a lot of knowledge on the platform on Reddit actually from people.
Yeah, definitely. So that's the difference between Twitter and Reddit. So you have a lot of techie and a lot of professional people on Twitter, but there not that much not that much science to say something. And if you post your stuff on Reddit, you also get professional comments on what you post there. So
yeah, totally.
But you also can't sell your game on Reddit anymore, so that's also a thing the community noticed over the last years and months. So
man, we're just too late in the game. We should have started game development earlier, Steve, like 10 years ago or something.
Then you had to book commercials in print magazines, so that's also a different kind of thing.
That's true. That's very true. Well,
actually,
there would have been a good chance 10 years, 2010, to make it a box release. That would be awesome.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I've probably been working on my own game for like a good 3 years. Yeah. No.
Right. What kind of game are you doing?
Well, now I'm like first doing the whole VR thing, which I'm gonna make a shooter, but after that, yeah, it's a shooter. I want it to be like Doom like, so like very fast action and everything, and like a lot of mobility. Yeah, and like that thing that went through so many different phases. Like the beginning thing was made in Unity and was supposed to be like this detective thing.
Right.
And then it went into sci-fi stuff because I like making sci-fi. And then I was just like, okay, yeah, this is a shooter now.
Yeah, that's how it works, isn't it?
And now I've done the base Unreal Engine project. I've redone it 3 times or something.
Yeah, game development is a really hard thing. So
yeah, it is.
What works for me good. I don't have that much experience. I only made like Ludum Dara and even smaller games. Is to set a permadeath line. So I want to finish this in a month or by September and something like that. So you have kind of a time schedule already that you can keep on.
That worked out good for you, or didn't it?
It worked out, but you need to have a good understanding of the amount of content you're putting in. So if you're at the start and you don't know how the end will look, then you can't do it like that.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's just where the experience comes in, I guess. That's why we still have to learn as well. Because if you don't know how long certain things just need on time, you can just forget your deadline anyway.
Yeah, but also if you take a look on projects by professional developers that are been making games for years and years, they always are not that good in planning or something.
I think that's
some crazy changes happen while the development, and there are problems coming up that were not supposed to come up, of course, and that takes a lot of time to solve this shit. And if you ask developers to give you a concrete release date, I think that's the worst pain in the ass you can give a developer. So
yeah, definitely.
I think publishers have a greater influence on these things than the actual developers. It's bad behavior in the industry.
You mean like what? Like on bad games? You mean?
What? Sorry?
On what influence? On what do you mean?
The influence of publishers on their developers for deadlines and stuff.
Yeah.
For example, No Man's Sky was a really drastic example of this, where Sony said you're going to have to make this game ready at the end of summer, and they made something playable, but they didn't make the game they promised to make.
Yeah. Right. I guess that really depends on the publisher, right? And on the amount of money that's behind it.
Yeah, so that's the thing. It's always a question of money, of course, because if you take publishers like, don't know, most bigger publishers have their own development teams, and they're not working with external developers anymore. So just like Ubisoft or Bethesda or Electronic Arts, they are not working with externals anymore. So and yeah, it always depends. So it's a question of money and of budget and of cost, of course.
Yeah.
So
Bethesda and deadlines and complete games, yes.
yeah, but if you take a look from the publisher side, they also have to pay their bills. They have to.
But I think Bethesda especially comes way too short in fan service and responsibility in regards to shareholder.
And also, it's always a question of costs. So when it comes to I don't know what points do you mean exactly?
I think it's a development that is visible in the industry in the recent years, not decades. That the companies are working more and more towards quarters, like annual income, and less towards the release stuff, and like EA and Battlefield and games with battle passes, and just get more income, get the next month more profit than the last month, and don't make something big and benefit from that. Just make a constant lower but more constant income.
Yeah,
Make
but
money producing.
Yeah, sure, but that's the thing. As I said a few minutes ago, they have to pay their bills, and I don't really want to know how much money Electronic Arts has to spend every month and every year or something like that, and
Probably loads.
they yeah and they have thousands of employees around the world, and that's a lot of money, and they have to get it from the players back. So, and they need to finance their projects and all that stuff. So yeah, it's always from the developer or the player's view. It's always it seems negative, but if you take a real look on the industry, there are a lot of smaller companies that only try to survive. So, but that's a real thing.
Yeah, I believe as well. So yeah, I mean, the thing is, the publisher's view is not really a dominant thing, right? You have to play it. Most of the people are players, and then the next thing is if there's anything that's the developer's view, because people like players can get in touch with developers over the internet really quickly, and the publisher view is something really rare actually to see through their eyes and to see all the details. So that's actually
and that's also the big difference between publishers like Ubisoft or Electronic Arts that have their own development teams, their own big studios, and
that's true.
So they can work on the games with less costs than some kind of indie publishers that are working with external developers that are to finance the projects of those developers and get visibility to them, and also get them to the first parties like Microsoft and Sony and Nintendo and stuff. And I believe the games industry is really a pain in the ass if you take a look behind the curtain. So
yeah, I believe so as well. That's like when we were talking before about earning money with games.
It's a very, very, very hard thing. So
yeah,
I know a lot of developers that they released their game about 6 or 9 months ago, and they made numbers on Steam, good numbers, and but because of event costs, because of marketing costs, because of translation stuff, because of art stuff, because of commercial stuff, etc., they're not earning money out of the games with 9 months release now. So
yeah,
it's even when you take a look on platforms like Steam, where you have about 9,000 released games in 1 year. So that's crazy.
yeah,
that's really crazy.
It's totally crazy. Totally is. Yeah, it's a young industry, right? And it's developing really fast.
Yeah,
definitely. Comes to gaming.
Yeah. So that's crazy, yeah.
To shift the theme, I would suggest that we take our looks towards a comment from Henrik, which is, I think, really interesting. Do you guys feel demotivated sometimes when you see those really good assets, drawings, etc. on ArtStation Polycount?
Oh. What about you,
Comparing
Steve?
oneself's art to the others.
Well, that's a big thing. How do you feel, Steve?
Yeah, it does happen, to be honest. But I don't know. I mean, Dave goes on social media way more than I do. So I mean, it's great to see stuff. Sometimes you'll see something and like compare it to your own project and be like, oh man, we suck. Like, what the hell are we doing? But I think that's the same for anyone, really.
Yeah.
To be honest, we just like to see what people are doing. It's just interesting.
Definitely is interesting. Yeah.
I think we're kind of happy with what we're doing, so we don't worry too much about other people's stuff being better.
Yeah, I guess that could be it. The thing is, on Polycount and ArtStation, I'm not really around a lot. So if I see anything, then it's on Instagram or Twitter.
Yeah.
On Instagram, I rarely see like crazy things, if I'm honest. But I'm actually not really looking through stuff really a lot. I guess it's I'm more in social media more than Steve actually is, because I'm doing a lot of social media stuff for us, but not more than that really, because I'm actually so much handling our own stuff that I actually don't want to spend more time looking for other devs and see what they do. So actually, I guess we're missing out a lot what's actually going on, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
But
it's too easy to procrastinate, so
yeah.
It's just good to not spend a long time on that.
Yeah. Exactly.
I have one thought in mind always when things like this occur. It's not being how did he call it? Demotivated.
Demotivated, yeah.
I feel more motivated actually and inspired because I have this thought in mind that I will someday be as great as this.
Yeah.
Or even greater. I will someday make this.
Yeah.
I'm going to do this exactly like this, and I'm happy for that. And I'm more motivated to improve on my own stuff.
Yeah.
It's not something that makes me feel, oh, I'm so bad at this and I will never. No, the opposite.
It's kind of the opposite, exactly.
But I try to avoid looking at too much pretty things, so I don't have to compare myself against this stuff always.
Okay, guys, I'm really sorry to disturb, but I'll be taking my leave now.
That's
so
okay.
It was great talking to you all in a live chat.
Yes. Well, thank you again for the whole idea.
No issues, man. No issues.
And
okay, bye everyone.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Bye. Have a great day.
Yeah, you too. Bye.
Sleep well. Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Thanks.
I don't think it's night actually in India right now.
You think so?
It's not night. It's morning again, I think.
Yeah.
4 a.m.
It is
4 a.m. So it's quite early.
Well, apparently he stayed up to join us. So.
That's really lovely, actually. Yeah. Well, I think we've been talking for 2 hours now anyway, so I think we could actually call a day as well. We still have loads of questions. That's actually cool.
We didn't even get through 4 of them, Dave.
Not even, because we just talked too much about certain things. That's cool though. That was great.
It was more of an intern meeting.
Yeah.
But there were questions from the chat.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Some really good ones. Actually.
That's true. Yeah, Henrik actually joined the Discord. That's cool. Yeah, I think we could just do just another Q&A community hangout. We could just do these a bit regularly. We're just just hang out, talk a bit. That's nice. Actually really enjoy that. So yeah, if no one has any questions, is there any more questions in the chat or in the talk?
I don't think so.
I think there were a lot of that we just skipped or talked more broad about.
Yeah.
There was a
photogrammetry. Photogrammetry.
Oh, the photogrammetry. We don't use any photogrammetry.
Yes, I think it's just a new, completely new workflow that you have to learn and.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
It seems a bit too. I don't spend too much time on each asset because I'm building them all alone, and it's a lot of assets to do. And if I would do like photogrammetry on each asset and clean them up and use extra programs for that, I think it might actually
Photogrammetry is better for art than for actual productive item creation.
Yeah, that's what I think, especially for like a small indie team as we are, right? If we had like 10 people doing photogrammetry all day, that's cool, but we don't. So.
Do you use the Displayland app?
No.
There is an app. It's really cool on the Play Store. You can just download it and you open it up and you point your phone at something and walk around it for like 1.5 minutes, which is longer than you might think, and then you have it.
I heard about that. And
it works really good.
Nice, yeah. Yeah, I get it.
What was it?
I don't know. What's the name again?
Displayland.
Actually, there's another question in the chat from Buddy. Maybe this question was on previous streams how you teamed up. We actually talked about that before, but that's like more than 1 hour ago. So actually, Steve and me, we met in another smaller indie project. Not small, a bigger indie project. It was bigger. Like the game was supposed to. Yeah, it was like 30 people working on this, and we met there. He was doing level design, I was doing 3D stuff. That was all through the internet, so we didn't saw each other. It was all organized through the internet. It was people from all over the world, and we were working together there. And that's kind of how we met. And at some point, we decided to do our own game. That's when we decided to just do Industria actually. And to team up. Yeah. It's long ago.
That was, believe it or not, like 5 years ago, man. That's crazy.
5 years. Yeah, that's a long time. Yeah.
5 years. 5 years and a lot of grey hair.
Yeah, a lot of grey hair. More to come. So.
Yeah.
Would you call this a Lebenswerk?
Whoa.
A lifetime achievement?
Yes.
No.
Not until it's done, at least.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Not until it's done.
I don't know.
A lifetime achievement would still be something you do over like 30 years, isn't it? Like what's the
I mean, it's like a fourth of your lifetime already.
Yeah, okay, yeah. That's true.
Don't depress us, man.
Yeah, don't depress us, just
yeah, I guess. It's probably the biggest thing we've done, isn't it?
Yes.
Ever. No,
ever. Definitely. So for our current lives, it's definitely a lifetime achievement, right?
Yeah.
You could say that.
So I bet there's more to come.
Exactly. I hope it's not the only thing we ever do. That'd be a bit sad.
We all hope that.
Yes.
Industria 2.
Oh god.
Oh, come on, Industria 3.
No. Gaben says no.
VR.
Gaben says no. We can't count to 3 anyway.
Can't be the third one. We'll have to do like.
Okay, let's say Industria 2 and Industria 2.5.
Yes.
Okay.
2 episode 2.
Keep inspired by the original.
Yes. Yeah. Well, believe it or not, but this thing we're doing right now was actually thought as 1 episode of 3. So.
Oh.
But that's not official. We just say it's just Industria and whatever. There is more story stuff there, so we could do more. But you know,
so there will be a cliffhanger ending.
If we actually did that, Dave, then we would accomplish something that Valve never has.
That's true.
Free.
That's true. We should just do it because of that fact alone.
Yeah. But we should just rename Jonathan's Whale episode 1 and Industria can be episode 2. Then whatever we do next can be episode 3.
Yeah.
The save
That makes
sometimes.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually clever. That's really clever.
Are there hints to your first game in Industria?
Yes.
There will be. Yeah, there will be.
I'm going definitely. Maybe this night I'm going to play the other game.
You need to. You need to. It's.
I will do. It's gonna be the next game I'm going to play.
Awesome. It's really quick. It's not taking too much of your time, so it's actually just really. What was that? 15 minutes even or something like that.
Less than that, probably. Yeah, 5-10 minutes.
There will be a review.
I hope so. It's just on itch though, right? It's not on Steam.
I looked at it. It's 233 megabytes.
Ooh, that's actually quite big for such a small game.
Yeah, it's a 3D game.
Yeah.
Oh, I only have the Skyrim mod. Where is it?
Oh,
On
it's
it.
in the general chat, I think.
Yes.
A bit up. You got it?
Yes, I'm currently downloading it.
Well, okay, this is cool.
Cool.
I think that's it for today.
Yes.
Oh yeah, okay, cool. I thought there was another question, but that's cool. Yeah, let's actually talk about the rest in the next stream.
Yeah.
It was a pleasure to speak with you.
Yes.
Thanks for coming, man. It's great to have you.
Thank you for joining. Yeah. It was definitely a lot of fun.
This is the first like chat stream we've done
Yeah.
with other people.
Yeah.
It's cool.
I think it's a great concept to just get in touch with the people a bit more than just chatting. Yeah, we got to do this more, but also more dev streams as well. We'll see.
Yep.
Okay, well then I wish everyone a wonderful evening and stay healthy in these times.
Thanks, guys. Yes, be careful out there. Or not out there. Inside. Stay inside.
Stay inside. Yes. Alrighty. Okay, I'll cancel the stream now. Enjoy your evenings.
Take care, guys.
Yeah, guys, take care.
Take care.
Alrighty. Bye.